10 years. We've been around for 10 years. 10 years ago, our church started with a very simple idea that church could be a place where lives are changed. That church doesn't have to be a drag. That church doesn't have to be the thing you have to do. It's the thing you want to do. And so in September of 2008, we had our very first church service. I remember it vividly. I remember it vividly because I loaned the church $50,000 of my own money to buy tables and mics and chairs and lights. And that first church service, I remember feeling like this is it. This is what I've been looking for my entire life. A place where regular people can come and just be. A place where we can all love each other without pretense. It was September of 2008. We started with 4 other pastors besides me. Pastor Paula, Pastor Marty, Pastor Nick, and Pastor Drew. They were our founding pastors. And for the first year, we were mobile. Mobile, in case you don't know what that means, what it means is a select group of volunteers gets up at 5 o'clock every Sunday morning, and they go and they unload a 22 feet white box truck. For the first year, that's what we did. We unloaded a truck and loaded it, all the contents, the chairs and the mics and the lights, into Southwest Guilford High School. And then when we were done, we'd load it all back up and we would rinse and repeat every single week. For a year, we did that. The first year was hard, but you know, looking back, it's one of my favorite periods in our church. It was just the creation of this new thing. I felt like we were creating a light. It was awesome. So a year later, in the summer of 2009, we decide, after a lot of prayer and a lot of unpacking a 22-foot box truck, that we need to find a permanent location. And so we moved into a little 3,000 square feet strip center on Samet Drive. And by the time we were done there at Samet Drive, we were taking up the whole back side of the strip mall, like 10,000 square feet. God just blessed us, and we tore down walls and made new classrooms, and it was such a cool time. In 2012, one of our founding pastors, Pastor Marty, who was one of my best friends and has since passed away, had this dream, like a literal dream, that we start a food bank. And the pastors all prayed about it, and we felt like that was a God-given dream. And so we did what we try to do here: is when God speaks, we step out. Sometimes we get it right, sometimes we get it wrong. That's life. But we got this right eventually. For the first 6 months of our food bank, the volunteers would just sit in a room hoping somebody would show up and come get our food, please. If you are part of our food bank ministry now, that's almost laughable. But back then, it was hard for us to even give food away. And then it's like something happened, something just snapped. And maybe about 6 months into it, people just started showing up, and our food bank has become one of the largest food banks in the Triad. And we give away so much food in Jamestown and now in Lexington. It's one of my favorite things about our church. I love our food bank especially because the people who we love at our food bank, they are not separate from anybody. They're part of us. We're all one big family, and we love helping people, and we love seeing people get back on their feet. This is what we're all about. That kind of life change. That same year, 2012, I made the biggest faith leap of my personal life, and I quit my job as a lawyer, as a partner in a big law firm, to be the full-time pastor of this church. And I wish I could say it was an easy leap to make. It wasn't. I agonized over it. Faith is never easy. And while it was the hardest decision I've ever made, it's also, I think, the best decision I've ever made, because it's allowed me to do every day what I love to do, and it's be your pastor. A year later, I convinced a school teacher named Jace Breback to join me and become our family pastor here. And Jace became Pastor Jace, and man, what an environment he creates for our kids. Our kids come to church on Sunday mornings and they feel loved. Most of the parents in the room could probably tell a story about how their kid has said, I want to be at Renaissance Road Church today. Our middle school and high school students, when they come together, they don't come together and they don't have to wear masks. They just come together and they get to be. Our kids and our students feel loved here. And I love that about our church. I love that environment that Pastor Jace has created. In February of 2014, I had this dream that I was in this ugly building and that our church was looking to buy this ugly building. And I remember waking up from that dream and thinking, I hope we never buy that building because it was just so ugly. Well, a couple of months later, I get a call from a realtor to come check this building out. And when I drive up to this building, I recognize it as the building in my dream. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to have to buy this ugly building. I feel like the Lord wants us to buy this ugly building. And so we did it. In April of 2014, we announced to our church that we just had signed the purchase contract on our Jamestown campus building. And for the next 16, 18 months, we built it, we renovated it. Felt like 18 years, but for the next 16 or 18 months, we spent time turning this place into a special place. And now our Jamestown building is a place where family happens. In fact, it's on one of our walls there, and we say it, family happens here. And it has happened in that building. Marriages have happened, funerals have happened there, parties, small groups, Zumba classes. God has shown up, not just on Sunday morning, but throughout the week. Family happens here. And God got it right. It just goes to show you that what the world calls ugly, God can turn into something beautiful. After that, right while all that was going on, Pastor Mark and Pastor Paula followed me, and Pastor Jason became employees of our church. And to me, it's so rewarding to see these folks who helped us start 10 years ago, that I get to work with them now, and it's part of our everyday lives now that we get paid to do this. I also love that we've baptized a lot of our pastors. It's rewarding to me to see this person that I baptized who's now a pastor in our church, and that's really cool too. In 2016, a country boy from Lexington decided to start a mobile food bank at the public library in downtown Lexington. We didn't know what would happen. We just knew there were hungry people in Lexington, so we did that, and we did that. Dustin Owens led that, and people started showing up to be fed, and people started showing up to help feed. And after about a year of this, Dustin and I look at each other and we're like, maybe we should start a church here. So something we want to do at Renaissance Road is to start a church. Actually, we're going to start 7 churches someday. But we looked at each other and we said, this seems to be a good opportunity. And so for a year we prepared for that. And in January of 2018, this past year, the Lexington location of Renaissance Road Church began holding services in Lexington. In April, the Lexington church was blessed to move into its very own building. We didn't wait a year of being mobile in Lexington, no sir. We learned from our mistakes. And it's been amazing. Just the new friendships that have been formed out there, the way that the community is being built in Lexington. I am just so happy to see that. And I believe that the Lexington church is set up for a period of rapid growth, and we're going to see that soon. Not just growth numerically, but growth spiritually. God wants to do something special in the city of Lexington. So here we are, 10 years later. We've seen a lot, we've been through a lot, but I summarize it like this. Renaissance Road Church has been a place where people experience life change. Over and over again, Renaissance Road, you have seen lives changed. And what you've seen if you're not careful, it can become so common that you lose sight of it. But this is not ordinary. You have seen miracles. You've seen something you can tell your grandkids about. And 10 years from now, if you stick around and hang out with us, I believe we will see even greater things, because we're going to continue being that church where people experience life change.